Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Girlish. My name is Gage, and I'm here with my co-host Olivia.
Hey everyone, it's me. We've been
Uh,
recording or trying to record for like the past hour, and that hasn't been working.
we're
Like
honestly having technical difficulties. Like we've already been through this conversation multiple times, and it's not
it,
working. But we're
it's
here.
funny because like we on our like because we were trying to record like a minute ago, and like you were saying how hard it was to record being on opposite coasts, and like it's been really difficult to produce the podcast. And as soon as you started saying that, the website just like crashed.
I manifested.
You did. So hopefully that doesn't happen again. I'm like praying. Like we just have to get through an hour of this and like hopefully everything just works out. But oh
Yeah,
my god.
absolutely. But anyways, hi everyone. We are back. Despite our technical difficulties, we're here. Today we're going to be talking about like something that's been happening a lot in the media, specifically in regards to like trans athletes. I know that's kind of been a hot topic like a while ago, but especially now, I think the government specifically is trying to target trans kids and allowing them to be involved in sports. So that's going to be our main topic for today. But it has been a while since we've been on here. And I think both of us have like a lot of updates going on and things that we could probably talk about just to keep you guys updated on what's been going on in our lives.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to like jump into this conversation. I already said all of this and I'm just having
I
to like
know.
re-say it. But no, like genuinely this conversation I think is really important. I mean, I've seen a million people like sharing resources. I have a lot of like just cis friends on their stories on Instagram or just like posting like sign this petition so the governor won't like sign off a bill that like will harm trans athletes or trans student athletes. And so, yeah, this whole conversation has been really frustrating. I just have been seeing like report after report after report of like all of this happening. So, yeah, it's definitely been annoying to having to see. It kind of feels like we're taking steps backwards. But yeah, I think it's really important that we discuss it, and I'm happy we're able to discuss it today. And there has been a lot of life updates. I think we haven't been, I don't think it's been, I think it's been like 3 weeks since we posted the last one. I feel like we always make excuses, but it's always on me. Like I have finals and like there's just been like a bunch. It's really hard to kind of like work out like times to literally, literally as soon as I started talking about that again. Oh my god,
Bang.
it just broke out again for a
I'm gonna
second.
have a mental breakdown.
All right, we're gonna keep it going. It's working.
Thanks.
But
Okay.
literally, as soon as I started talking about it, we're gonna go through it. But anyways, we both have life updates that we want to share. So if you want to get started on that, we can kind of share our life updates and things going on before we get into the main topic of the video.
Yeah.
I know I want to kill myself.
I'm gonna. I just started talking in a British accent because I'm just like so fed up. But like, yeah, I do have. I guess the biggest update I have in my life is I did get a promotion recently.
Whoop
I think
whoop.
I brought it up a while ago that I was like trying to get a new position at work. The first time I applied, I that was like a different situation because they were only hiring one person and there were like 18 people applying. So I didn't get that one, but they ended up opening more positions in the same role, I guess. And the second time around, they reconsidered me and they offered me a job. So that is really exciting. I recently just went to Vegas to celebrate our anniversary, my 4 year anniversary. And like I was in training for work on Monday and Tuesday, like while I was in my hotel room, like just on the Microsoft Teams meeting, all casual, like pretending like I'm not in Vegas. So that was interesting. But yeah, I got a promotion. I bought my first designer bag, which is so crazy to me. I feel like I'm just a rich LA girl now. So
We
that's
fully assimilated.
yeah, so today, like my bag just came in today, and also Russell got me AirPods for our anniversary. So I got AirPods and a bag on the same day. I literally feel unstoppable right now.
I
Nobody
just
can tell
can't
me
wait.
shit.
is for you to like walk into your like local Ralph's just with
Oh,
like
I'm
your
so excited to go to Ross.
with your your fucking designer bag and your AirPods in.
I know. I'm gonna be at the cashier and be like, "Oh, let me get my card out and just show her my bag."
They're like like how was your day? You're like, wait, sorry, what? I can't hear you.
My
You're too
AirPods
busy
are
being
in. Sorry.
rich over here. I love that though. Yeah, I'm really happy. Like, just I feel like so many things are happening for you. You're treating yourself, that promotion, because you've been like, yeah, like I think literally the last episode you were talking about how you were trying to get the first one, and then all of a sudden like all of this happened so quick, and now you're like actually in it. But yeah, that shit sucks that you had to go through training while you were on vacation.
I know, because especially
Same.
the night before we went to bed, or I went to bed at like 4 a.m. So, like, to wake up at 7 and have to appear in front of like a whole class of trainers and like other people and like pretend like you're fine and not dying on the inside was a little bit of a struggle, but I think I pulled it off well.
How was Vegas?
It
How was the
was,
trip regardless of the
yeah, it
training?
was fun. It was kind of chill just because, like, we're still in a pandemic.
Hmm.
But there was like surprisingly, actually not surprisingly, like it's Vegas, but like there was a lot of people. And like when we first drove in, I was looking at everybody walking down the strip and like 10% of people had masks on. Like it's mandatory to wear a mask when you're like in a hotel or anywhere inside, but when you're outside, people just like take it off and are walking around. So like I probably walked past like 8 people with COVID over the last weekend. So, oh, I also got my vaccine. I was just like, what the fuck?
Wait, which do you have both or just
I
one?
just have one. I'm half
Okay, yeah.
vaccinated.
Pfizer gang or
Pfizer
Moderna?
Queen.
Pfizer, love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just got my second vaccine, Pfizer. Did you feel any side effects with it?
My arm was sore and I had like a
Yeah.
minor headache, but I don't know if that was because of work or because of the vaccine. So I was
Maybe more
fine.
stressful. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I got my second. My first one, my arm hurt really bad for like 3, 4 days. And the second one, I had like 102 fever. I had like a really bad like flu like symptoms where like my body ached and I was getting like cold sweats. And it was like really bad for like it was weird because I was like really sick for like the entire day, and then out of nowhere everything went away and I was completely fine. It was so strange. It wasn't even like there was like a cooling down period. My body just all of a sudden was better, and so I'm like that's sketch. But
That's what
anyways,
I have
I'm
to look forward
updated.
to.
Exactly, we're microchipped. We're updated to the new iOS,
Oh my God,
and
yeah.
and I love that for us. But yeah, so it's been like a week since I got my vaccine and all that fun stuff. But that sounds awful. I've heard Vegas is really bad. I've heard it's
It's,
like the mecca of COVID because
yeah,
everyone's
like,
just there.
how do you like properly have precautions in Vegas? Like, everybody's touching slot machines and like shit in the casino. It's like, you can't really, even if you're wearing a mask, like, everyone's touching everything. Like, you literally can't prevent anything from happening if you were to go to
Did you
Vegas.
did you end up gambling?
I did. I don't. This is the first time I've ever gambled on the slots. The first night I won, I went up $20, and then the second time I went down. So like I ended up walking away with nothing, but it's okay. It was just for like the
Yeah, for the
experience.
experience, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I
You
only
put
played
in
the
what you can
games.
lose.
I only
Yeah.
played the games that looked cute, like with the cute pictures on it and like had pretty colors.
I feel like that would be me because I don't know how to play what Jack Black. I can't do any of
Not
that.
Jack Black. I love that game.
I have to go.
Oh my god, next time I'm going, I'm gonna say, can we go to the Jack Black table?
The Kung Fu Panda bitch. I can't. I'm so sorry.
No, I
I'm
can't play
embarrassed
any
right now.
table games either. Like
Yeah.
whatever the fuck they play. I have to play the slots because it you literally just press a button and like that's all you have to do.
Oh my god. Jack Black. I'm sorry. Fuck.
That was so
It's been a
funny.
week. Oh my god. But yeah, I think if I were to go, I would probably just stick with like the slot machines too. I like, I mean, my family like lives in like Immokalee, Florida, which it's a reservation, so they have like there's like a like they're known for, or like people in that area, Southwest Florida, go specifically to Immokalee to gamble at that casino, and and yeah, I've always wanted to go, but I just haven't. I haven't been there in like years, so that's definitely something I've been wanting to do. But it seems really like, obviously you want to put in what you're willing to lose, and like you want to do it for the experience rather than trying to gain money, because it seems like it's not
Mhm.
beneficial at all. But yeah, I think it's. I know there's that one where they like spin and you can put like money on black or like red, and
Yeah, that's what
that's
Russell
something
plays.
that seems like something that's like easy.
That's reasonable for us, for our
Yeah.
mental
Just like
capacity.
I want to put $5 on red.
Yeah.
Or like pea brain Jack Black. I hate myself. But yeah, so that's fun. That sounds like a fun weekend. You said you had an experience with a man when you passing by you.
Oh my god, I like mentally blocked it out of my head. So like I I don't know why, but I decided to take an edible before we went walking down the strip. And like the strip is the most like chaotic part of Vegas. There's so many people. You have like people walking around in sweatpants, and then you have bitches walking around in like designer dresses with heels on. It's just like such a weird experience. And we were like at a crosswalk intersection. There was so many people, like it was a lot. And the wind was like blowing. And right as the wind blew, I just feel like a hand like literally go into my shorts and grab my ass. And like I stopped for a second and I looked at Russell. I was like, somebody just grabbed my ass. And he was like, who? And I couldn't tell because there were so many people. Like we're at a stoplight. I'm pretty sure that's why they did it, because there were so many people and they could have just did it and got away with it. But yeah, that was like an experience. I feel like if I wasn't high off an edible, I probably would have had a mental breakdown and cried. But I just like forgot about it and kept stepping. And then the next morning, I was like, oh, somebody like literally grabbed my ass on the street last
Yeah.
night. So
Just
that
like
was,
assaulted, just
I just got
randomly.
assaulted. Yeah, just like
Yeah.
casually. Like that's it's no big deal.
That's so rough. I remember I've been like catcalled like one time just by like someone walking past me, and it was like in Atlanta, and I like it like stuck with me, and it was like the worst feeling. And so I can imagine if someone actually touching you, like ugh. And yeah, Vegas seems like so much fun.
It's like I don't know how to
It's
explain
quirky.
Vegas. It's like it's fun. Like if you have a group of friends and you go with them and you all just like hang out, it's fun. But like the type of people that go to Vegas like are annoying. So it's just like it depends on who you run into, I guess.
Yeah, it's like all the like what stays in Vegas type people.
Yeah,
They think the rules don't apply to them. Yeah, that
exactly.
sucks. Because I that happened with Emily, my partner. She we were at like a bar and someone grabbed her ass on her way to the restroom, and I saw him do it. And like she's like tipsy drunk, and I don't really drink that much. I like to be the DD. I'll like maybe have like two, three drinks like early on, and then so by the end of the night I'm like cooled down enough to drive. And or we like get an Uber, but I like to be like the more sober one. And I saw it happen, and I was so mad, and like I like assaulted this man back. I like pushed him, and we're like near like dude, we're just like in a crowd of people, and I just kept pushing him into like all these people, and then we just ended up walking away. And I was like my man came out like genuinely. I was so mad. I was like, you did not just do that. But yeah, it's like a shitty thing that like that it's like so fucked. But yeah, I'm sorry that happened to you.
Why do men do the things that they do?
I don't know,
I
and
don't get
I've
it.
heard the million stories. I'm lucky. I'm fortunate enough where I feel like I don't live in a place where I don't go out that often, and I don't live in a place. I feel like yeah, that's so that I feel like it's very normalized to have that type of experience. But you live in LA, which is like the mecca of like a lot of like different people just like constantly being creeps. I
It's
feel like
so
it.
sad that like that happened to me in Vegas, but like I'm like it didn't really phase me. I was just like,
Yeah.
"Oh, like it's okay. Like I'll get over it." Like I don't feel like that's something that we should just get over if some random stranger grabs your ass in public. Like that's like a problem if people are like, "Oh, it's fine." Like it's whatever.
Yeah, I know you've talked to me about like other times where people are just like flirting with you while like you're in like sweats, like just like randomly, just like in and out. Like when you said that someone was like, "Oh, it looks like," or like you're ready for date night or something,
Oh,
and
yeah. I was literally going
you're
to
like,
Target in sweatpants. Like I don't know what date night I'm going to, babe. Like
oh my god, that's like so fucking annoying. Just like men constantly have to like, just they're doing the most. Um, yeah, it's awful. But I'm happy that you had a fun time regardless of that. Sounds like a fun little vacay. Um, hopefully you guys can like actually do another one soon where you don't have to deal with work
mhm.
because that shit seems
Yeah.
annoying.
That would be fun. But we'll
You
see
also
maybe
have,
like when things calm down and like we can actually go do stuff.
yeah. Oh, do you have any updates on any surgery related
Oh my God.
stuff?
Why is it
We
like
have
I
so many
literally
updates.
forget
Yeah.
about everything that's going on in my life and I need you to like remember. I set up a consultation or my Skype consultation with the surgeon that I am planning on getting bottom surgery with in Arizona. So that's on the 11th in 10 days. So I'm going to have a Skype call. I'm pretty set on like going to the surgeon just because I've talked to somebody that's gone to her and I've seen the proof in the pudding and what I saw was very satisfactory to me. So yeah, I do want to go to her. It's just like a matter of going through insurance and getting all the documents and all that extra shit that I probably will need to go through. But we'll see what happens after my consultation. Hopefully, she'll like give me a roadmap of what I need to do in order to prepare. But yeah, that's happening. Also, I got my deposit back from my FFS that literally happened in 2019, which is 2 years
Finally.
ago.
You,
Yeah, they sent it to me in the mail randomly, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. They finally like actually followed up with me and gave me my money back, so that's nice.
that's so fucked. You've been like fighting
Yeah,
them. Just be like, where the fuck's my
like
money?
apparently they sent it to me in the mail, but like obviously I didn't get it. So I was like, can
Hmm.
you resend it to me? And then the lady that was helping me kept saying like, oh, I'll check on it and I'll get back to you. And then didn't respond for like 2 weeks after that. And then it just randomly showed up in my mailbox. So I was like, okay, thanks. I'll
Yeah.
take it. Free check.
Goodbye. Exactly. But that's so annoying. But I'm happy you did get it. But yeah, surgery is like such a big deal and I'm really excited. And a consultation is like so fun. You don't have to do any sort of deposit for the consultation.
Um, I don't think so. I think they bill my insurance for the
Oh yeah, because
consultation.
you're getting it through insurance.
Yeah,
Damn, how
that's
different. That's
yeah.
wild.
Yeah, I'm excited. Well, actually, she said she was gonna like send me a packet, but I haven't gotten it yet, so I'm not sure. But I
I'm
think the
excited.
consultation is $100, which is like fine, I
That's not,
guess.
that's reasonable, yeah.
But yeah, I think they'll bill my insurance if they have my. They should have my information.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. I'm
Yeah,
very excited for you. You
me
have to keep us
too.
updated or keep me updated
Of
at least. So
course.
with like what's going on cuz like I need to know there's so many like little things. Like I don't know if like some surgeons are like, "Oh, you don't need laser like hair removal." Other surgeons are like, "Oh, you need it." Like it's like you have to get it. And there's like all these different rules and every surgeon's different. So it's always really frustrating. But I'm
Hmm.
really interested cuz like obviously it's something that I've been considering and it's just it feels so impossible in Florida and like being on this like the South, especially like we're gonna get more into it today with like all these like anti-trans bills that are like coming out in like a lot of southern states. It's like almost impossible to like do anything like because for me to get a consultation for top surgery, which I've been like trying to get or deal with, it was like $250 that I had to pay. It goes towards surgery costs, but if I decided I don't like him, then they just keep the money. And then so I have to pay it all out of pocket. And so I set a surgery date, and to set my surgery date, I have to pay them half the money and it's like non-refundable. So like what happened was I was in a car accident, and I talked about it like with you guys, and I've just been going to a bunch of doctor's appointments because I've been pretty fucked up. Just like my body has just been like in so much pain because of it, and I don't want to get too in depth into it, not right now at least. But yeah, just like little things here and there, just like really fucked me up with the car accident. And I was told by doctors like maybe you shouldn't get like surgery right now. So I had to like call the surgeon and be like, can I reschedule it? And like I've had it like an open-ended surgery date because I don't know when the settlement's gonna end, when I'm actually gonna be feeling better. Because I don't want to like have the surgery and then and I was it sucks 'cause I was so excited for it, and like all of a sudden now I can't have it. It's like bullshit. And so it has been rough. And um yeah, and so I don't want to, if I get the surgery, I don't want to leave like the surgery in pain, not knowing is it from the car accident or is it from the surgery. And so I don't want to have that confusion. And so
Mm.
it's just been really, really rough, kind of like trying to figure out what's my next steps, what do I want to do. And yeah, and like I did a GoFundMe and so many people supported me, and now it just sucks because I'm not getting it when I wanted to get it. So we'll see, and I'm gonna keep everyone updated in the loop of that. But so that's been like a big thing going on where I'm just trying to get like through all the doctor's appointments and trying to figure out when I can actually get surgery, possibly when I can get seen. And in the meantime, what sort of gender affirming thing I can do. And so I found a crazy deal on Groupon, like a crazy deal for laser hair removal, like on my face, because I've gotten it before, and I wanted to get it again because I felt like I didn't do enough. And I called the places in my area, and I don't know how much you paid for your laser hair removal or if you remember, but like the first time or the in my area, they're trying to charge me $2,000 for it and for
It
six
wasn't that.
sessions.
I think I paid for like $300 to $400 for like 5 or 6 sessions or something like that.
That's crazy. Yeah. No, so they were trying to charge me like $2,000 in all these places near me. And then the last place I went to the first time only charged me $700. And then so I went on Groupon and I found this insane deal where it was like $220 to get 6 sessions. And it's just like owned by like this, um, just like this, like, yeah, this husband and wife, a shop. And like, they're just like really sweet. I went to see him, really kind, and I'm going in again in like a few weeks. And yeah, I've already after the first time I've already noticed like progress, and I'm like really excited about it. So those are like some trans updates news. But yeah, that's been pretty fun.
What about
Fun
your
and fresh.
hair?
Oh my god. Yes. I have never gotten my hair cut since transitioning. Like the only person allowed to cut my hair is Emily, and she'll like trim it. It grew out really long, and then she like cut it shorter. And she's been like really, really great at like helping me maintain my hair because I trust no one. I was like, I cannot have anyone touching my hair, like, because I'm worried that I'm gonna get hate crimes constantly. I just have a fear that like a woman's gonna like be cutting my hair, she's gonna be like, you're a tranny, and cuts it all off. And I
Oh
know
my God,
that's
that's
like
horrifying.
I know that's an irrational fear, but I'm like constantly afraid
No,
of that.
absolutely not. I have nightmares about my hair getting cut off literally probably once a month. So I think it's
It's
very
like
normal.
eh,
It's like our identity,
exactly, and
basically.
it's like such a safety net. Just be like, this is my hair, and it's like it's like it belongs to me. It's kind of a statement of who I am, and being able to actually start growing out our hair, I feel like was a big deal because my family, it was always like cut it short, cut it short, cut it short, and it was always pressured for me to like have my hair short. And so
Same.
by yeah, so to actually grow our hair out was like a really big deal. So the idea of cutting it was scary. And so I've been teetering around the idea of having bangs for a really long time. And I'm pretty sure I've been talking with you about it for a really long time.
Yeah,
I
I
was like,
remember you said you wanted bangs, and I was like, I mean, I don't know.
yeah, everyone was like, I don't think you should do it. And I was like, but I wanna. So I did a lot of research. I have a really like I don't like my hairline at all. And like that's why I struggle. Like a big part of my dysphoria comes with my hairline. And I wanted a way to hide it. So I did a bunch of research on like different hair like bangs, I guess, hairstyles. And I saw like I found some like curtain bangs, like a lot of people with curtain bangs. I really liked it. And my hair is more wavy, so it's not like so like straight. And so yeah, I ended up just like pulling the trigger, and I was so scared. And I went to like a curly hair specialist who like cut my hair. And so I'm waiting there, and I'm like, she's gonna be transphobic. She's gonna hate crime me. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I'm just gonna be like, I'm gonna like just die. And then I like am waiting, and all of a sudden a guy comes up and he's like, Olivia, and he was like, oh, is that you? And I'm like, oh my god. Like, and then we sit down, and like I look at him, and he literally has tattoos all over his body, and on his neck he has he him tattooed on him. He's literally a trans man. Was tattoo or was cutting my hair.
It was
And I
meant
was
to
like,
be,
it was meant to
truly.
be, like genuinely. And honestly, he's such a kind person. He like he like killed it. I was so happy with like how it came out. And now I can do fun things like these clips.
It's
It just
so
makes me
cute.
happy. I
Like
know.
it
I'm like,
made me want to go get my hair done because like I feel like it was so different than what you had, but it suits
mhm.
you like literally perfectly.
And yeah, that's like something that I was worried because I'm like, it's a big like I feel like it seems so like first world problems of like changing a hairstyle, but it genuinely was like such a big deal for me to be like, I'm gonna like, because I've always had my hair part on the side. I've never like done a middle part or anything like that. So this was completely different. I felt like I was gonna change the way I look completely. But after doing it, I was like, wow, I haven't felt like something. I haven't felt like me until I got this haircut. I felt like so like that was a really cool experience. And so I'm very happy with that, and I like how it looks. And so that's been like main I'm so happy with it.
You
So
evolved.
I know, I feel like I've taken that next step. All the
Yeah,
dysphoria I've ever experienced gone.
it's gone. That's what the
I,
power of hair has.
I'm a cis woman now.
Exactly.
Exactly. But so yeah, that's the majority of the updates with me as I'm dealing with like surgery stuff. I'm trying to figure it out. In my haircut, finish finals, or I have one more assignment, but like finals are pretty much wrapping up. I have 2 semesters left, or like 1.5 semesters left. I have like a summer class that's like 6 weeks, and and yeah, I'm very excited to like be finishing up school and stuff. But things are going pretty okay for the most part, and yeah, so I think with that being said, after 30 minutes of us talking about updates, we can kind of get started into like the yeah, the main topic of the video. But before we go into the main topic, as if we haven't been waiting long enough, uh, a side main topic: Caitlyn Jenner, queen of the trannies, love her.
Yeah,
I think if
definitely.
you think of like if you in your head, if you ever have to think or show someone a trans person, you have to show them Caitlyn Jenner. Like it's
I feel like
mandatory that
she's like lover hater, but if most people think of a trans person or like a trans figure, they'll probably say her.
yeah,
And
that's true.
I mean, like, good for her. Like, do your thing. I know a lot of people have mixed feelings about her, me included. But yeah, like the reason we're talking about her is because she decided that she wants to run in the state of California where I live. And I will tell you, I will not be voting for Miss Jenner. But
How
I mean,
transphobic.
good for her, I guess. Like, congrats. So, like, the thing that also I just want to say quickly is like, I don't want people to think that it's like transphobic to criticize trans people for things that are not trans related. Like, I feel like I saw a lot of people say like, "Oh, I have so much to say about Caitlyn Jenner, but I'm not going to say it because everyone's going to cancel me and call me transphobic." Like, I genuinely don't care if you say that she's a dumb bitch and like is stupid, as long as it's like not she looks like a man and blah blah blah. Like, if it has nothing to do with her being trans, you can say whatever the fuck you want about
Yeah.
anybody, basically. But if you're personally attacking them specifically because they're trans, that's what makes it transphobic. But like I said, if you dislike her as a person and you don't agree with her politics or things that she's done in the past, then that's perfectly fine. So I just want to make that clear. Like, I don't want people to think that it's transphobic to disagree with somebody's politics or the way that they live their life just because they're trans.
I it is like the most frustrating thing to deal with when someone that's supposed to be like a really everyone knows who Caitlyn Jenner is. Everyone knows her history of like being connected to the Kardashians, but also being like a professional athlete. Like she's been around for a very long time, and so she's been like a family name that people have known for a very long time. And I think it was really shitty because we came out the same time that she came out. And so people like I think it was really hard for like my family, I think, to not think about her when they thought about me and my transition.
Yeah.
And but I think it also showed me how my family viewed trans people. So yeah, it definitely was an interesting thing that like a lot of people at that time saw trans people as Caitlyn Jenner. And she isn't necessarily the greatest representation for our community. So
I
yeah, she
like
decided.
loved her at the beginning.
Oh yeah, I was
Like
like
I
so
was like an I
excited
am
for
Kate
her.
stan. I was like, this is my favorite show ever. I'm watching it every night. And then like slowly as the season progressed, like you start to realize like her Republican tendencies come out, and then all the other girls are like, Miss Caitlyn, like you can't do that. And then I was
No.
like, maybe like she's not the one. But I will say I appreciate the exposure that she brought to the trans community. And like coming out as like an Olympic athlete obviously is tough. So like kudos for that. But like that's all I have to say in regards to her.
Yeah. So uh and so recent news with her also not like she's running for governor. She has very like Republican conservative ideology. She's running off of that. Running against the governor I don't know his name, current governor where in California. Uh
Garcetti? Is that the governor or the mayor?
Governor
I don't even know.
of
I live in California. I don't fucking know
California.
who the
Newsom. Yeah,
Gavin
Gavin
Newsom.
Newsom.
That
Yeah,
one.
he's the governor of California. And so she's running against him. And that'll be interesting because who the fuck is going to vote for her?
Like
Because okay, so like my thing is that she's like conservative values, conservative views, but the conservatives don't love you, honey, and the trans people don't love you either. So like, what the fuck are you gonna? Who's gonna vote for you? And
that's a really
so
tough platform for her because like you have to be like you're trans babe. You're like a big part of your audience or like the people that would vote for you are in the LGBT community, but they don't like you. And if the Republicans don't like you either, who's going to vote for you?
yeah, I'm like so frustrated because not only is she like running for governor and stuff, TMZ stopped her and it was asking her about trans people in sports. And I watched it. It was just released today and she was like saying how yeah, like trans people should not be playing in sports. Like if you're biologically born male, you should not be playing in like women's sports or whatever.
For me, it's difficult because like I feel like most people can understand. I mean, I think bottom line there shouldn't be a blanket statement that trans people should not be able to play sports at all. But I think there are like different circumstances. Like if you transition later on in life, I think everybody can acknowledge that at that point, your body has developed in the way that you identified before transitioning. Like even me, like my body looks different than somebody who, or it would have looked different if I transitioned earlier. And I understand that. And I know that my body looks different. But at the same time, if I was to like join the UFC, I would get the shit beat out of me. So it's like because I'm trans doesn't mean that I'm automatically have a leg up on all of the UFC fighters that are cis women. Like they would literally beat the fuck out of me in 4 seconds, maybe even less. So it's like you can't just say that just because you're trans, you automatically have an advantage. I do think it depends. Like there are certain circumstances where somebody's bone structure may look different, but at the same time, there are cis women who have broader shoulders. There are cis women who have more muscle mass than other cis women. So it's like you can't just ban all the cis women that look stereotypically masculine, because then what does that say? Like, you can't, there's really no way to gatekeep that. So I think it just depends. And I think most of the things that have been coming out lately have been in regards to trans kids, like participating in sports. And as a kid, like, a lot of kids are starting hormone blockers and everything really early on. And like at that point, they don't really have an advantage at all. And even as like an adult who's transitioned and has been on hormones for a certain amount of time, there isn't really any disadvantage or advantage to having like your hormone levels at that point have all balanced out and resemble a cis person at that point. So it's like, it's not like they have an advantage with their hormone levels if they have been transitioning for a certain period of time. So I guess it's just like, it's really difficult to talk about because there are so many different circumstances that can happen. But I feel like most fear is like, people just imagine trans women as like Arnold Schwarzenegger, and like that's their ideology in regards to trans people as to why they don't want them to compete against women, because they think we're all like burly men with like six packs and like drink energy drinks for breakfast. Like, that's not how it is.
Yeah, and a lot of these, it feels like such a non-issue seeing like how many of these states, like, okay, so like, I have the statistics here. So 50 bills in 28 states are being like put into place to, or like are being put into motion to stop trans kids to play in sports of the gender that they are. So that it's like it has been really frustrating to see that. And yeah, I just it seems like such a non-issue. Trans people are less than 2% of the population. So if you're thinking about trans kids, is even less than that. And there's this ideology or there's this idea that trans people or like trans kids are gonna abuse the system, that there is like that if they are a man, they can identify as a woman to gain like more in sports or to gain like out of that. And this is constantly thrown, or like trans men are going to be, or sorry, men are going to be who identify as trans women are just doing it to like go into like girls locker rooms or do all this stuff. But
Yeah.
it's like no, that's not what's happening. And I have another thing here, another statistic where it says, I literally just had it. um
Yeah, I was going to say it's very
okay,
reminiscent of like the bathroom issue. It's like
yes.
they just think that people are going to take advantage of that. Like, who the fuck is going to go through HRT just to play soccer? Like, huh?
It doesn't make sense, and I like, I mean, so along with these bills that we're seeing, like along with all of these like uh uh anti-trans athlete bills, we're seeing a lot of anti-trans like hormone like stuff as well. And like you mentioned it, like these kids, a lot of them are taking like hormone blockers and stuff like that. So if there are trans kids, so trans kids is already a really small minority. Trans kids that play sports is even a smaller minority. And it seems like such a non-issue because yeah, if they are trans, let's say they are on puberty blockers because they are able to come out at such a young age, then they literally don't, there's no advantage. Like they're like, if they haven't gone through any puberty, then there's no advantage. If they're on hormones, then there's no advantage. And even
Yeah.
if there is an advantage, if you think about it, why do we care so much about kids' sports? Like I thought the whole reason that we like push kids to do sports and be athletic is to have like to be able to be athletic, to be able to have outside time, be able to be moving, to get energy out, to like be healthy. But but they don't care about this. They don't care about trans, or they don't care about, they just want to be transphobic. They want to find a reason to be transphobic. There are, if you look at the basketball players, all of them are extremely tall. So short people can't play. I mean, short people doesn't mean that they can't play basketball, but taller people have an advantage. Why aren't they kicked out of basketball if they're over a certain height? There are there are like a million other these like other cases like this where like I've heard like Michael Phelps has some sort of thing where he's able to be a better swimmer because he was born with this like genetic mutation of whatever it is. Why is he allowed to be a swimmer? So like it's just really frustrating to see
Yeah.
that like people have advantages, people have disadvantages. It's like really just disgusting the things that they're implementing.
That's just sports in general. Like, to be successful in any sport, usually there's like an archetype of like how that person looks. Like in basketball, you're tall. In football, I mean, most of the time you are tall, but you're also muscular. And so like it really just depends on the sport that you play. Like people are going to excel at that sport that have naturally the body type that's going to allow them to perform better than everybody else. Like if you are a track star, you're obviously going to do better if you have longer legs than somebody with shorter legs. Maybe not always the case, but that's usually how it is. So it's like, how do you gatekeep trans people when there are so many cis people that also have that same advantage, but it doesn't matter because they're cis and that's the way that they were born or identified at birth. And it is such a non-issue because like if you think about the scope of like just high school sports or like kids sports in general, how many schools even have a trans student at in them? So it's like you're putting through all of these motions to ban trans kids from playing sports when your school might not even have a trans student in it. So like why is there a need to do that? It's really just it's not very like, I don't know. I just would feel very discouraged if I was a kid in my school banned trans people from playing in sports and I haven't even come out yet. Like I feel like that's just kind of a damaging thing to have to deal with, like to know that, oh, if I come out, I won't really be able to do anything because I'm basically banned from everything.
Yeah, that's like the so it is like really frustrating because so 22% of trans women who were perceived as trans in school were harassed so badly they had to leave school because of it. Another 10% were kicked out of school. So this is like an issue where people aren't going to pretend to be trans to play in sports because there's so much discrimination against trans people. If there's an openly trans person in school, then the likelihood of them not already being harassed is like super high. And if you take into scope of like trans suicide rates and stuff like that, this just further implements and hurts trans kids. And so we're seeing a lot of states. I think what was it, Arkansas? I think that's the one that was like trying to like. I think they ended up banning uh, trans kids from receiving hormone treatments or puberty blockers and stuff, which is really disgusting because puberty blockers are completely reversible. You just stop taking it. All it does is prevent a kid to go through puberty. And so if you hormones is not easy to start. You go and you see therapists and you're talking with therapists, especially with your when you're a kid, you're talking with a therapist for whoever knows how long on hormones, and just like not even like on estrogen until you're like in your like late teens before you actually put on estrogen. You put on hormone blockers to prevent you from going through puberty. And so it's really disgusting because they made it illegal for trans kids to get those types of things. But cis kids who go through puberty too fast are put on those same puberty blockers. For why? But that's not like an issue. They're not going to be prevented from taking that. And it's because this is a trans issue that these people are just being transphobic.
Yeah. I it's just like I don't understand really anything. I don't understand why people are constantly trying to regulate how other people live their lives. Like I really don't see how being trans has an effect on anybody other than the trans person themselves. And it's like we go through so much shit and it really like the thing that pisses me off the most about being trans is like the assumption that we transitioned for like an ulterior motive. Like I didn't transition for any other reason than to feel better in my own skin. Like I didn't transition because I wanted to join the soccer team and be the best because I wasn't able to be the best on the boys team. Like that's not something that goes through anybody's mind. It's like we're not transitioning to go into the women's bathroom or to go into the women's locker room to stare at people. It's like I don't know why it's so hard for people to realize that like we just want to do it to be happy. Like, is that not enough, or does there have to be something else behind it?
I'm thinking about Jack.
You're thinking about what?
Jack Black right now.
Stop.
Oh my god, sorry. I
Do
can't
you
get
think
over
Jack
it.
Black's transphobic?
Um, no.
I
I feel
don't think
like
so.
I don't think so. I
I
feel
think he's an
like
ally.
I think so too.
Oh my god, we should like pull up random pictures of celebrities and like try and
I'll
determine
guess
whether or
if
not
they're.
they're
Oh my
transphobic.
god, that's really
That would be
funny.
so funny.
Cause like Ellen, transphobic. Like we know she is.
Yeah. She's
They're
like a snake in the grass.
right, exactly. J.K. Rowling, ally.
Ally.
Okay, but yeah, going back to the trans and sports thing, it is like really annoying to see because like I mean, there's like language that's being used in these bills that are being passed in Florida, which is where I live. Ron DeSantis, like, so the bill that they're passing, I don't know if they've already passed it. It's hard to keep track with it because a million different like things are going through, and like they're all being called different things, and it's like I was reading this thing that like they somehow passed it like really quickly, secretively, like it was an egg sauce. I don't know. It's on Yahoo News. I'm reading this. Florida Republicans unexpectedly pass 11th hour bill restricting trans athletes. So I think it's already into play. But like one of these bills that they're like trying to pass is called Fairness in Women's Sports Act, which I think that language just kind of shows you how it's like saying that trans women aren't women because fairness in women's sports it's implying that like trans women are an other thing, they aren't women. And so that type of language, especially hearing it from our government, is really scary and really harmful. It is crazy how we have a democratic president and we're still seeing this disgusting uh, decisions being made, and it still feels like we're constantly going backwards and backwards and backwards, and it's really scary, um, because this can mean like a lot. This can mean so much for our future. So it's not even necessarily about the sports; it's about what it means. Why are they going out of their way to like create a non-issue just to harass trans people? Like there's a motive, there's an ulterior motive, and it's just to like prevent trans people from feeling safe, from feeling accepted. And they're just doing these little things to try and just harm the trans community. And that's why it's like so scary. Because like who gives a fuck about kids sports? Who cares? It's not a big deal. It's not like they're like in the Olympics, but even if they are, like people are just throwing balls around. It's really not a big deal. But like people just get really competitive over it, and like just like let kids have fun. It's really fine. And like I said, like trans people are often harassed, bullied, made to like have to leave school, and like that happens so often, and it's just really fucked that like people aren't just gonna like say they're trans to be good at sports. Like this is like a mental thing that like you have to go through, that you have to deal with. And yeah, it just like it's so frustrating that like it feels like a community is constantly under attack by one thing or another.
Yeah, and like what's the alternative? Like if you have a trans girl that's in high school and she wants to play soccer, like if she can't join the girls team, is she supposed to join the boys team? Like what's the alternative? Because like that doesn't really make sense to me either. Like that makes less sense than having her join the girls team. So it's like you can't, I don't feel like you should be able to, or you should be thinking about what to do or how to ban them or how to prevent them from being on teams that they identify as if there like isn't an alternative or a solution. Like you think it's okay to ban a trans person because they could potentially be at an advantage to cis people, but at the same time you deliberately want that trans person to be at a disadvantage on the boys team. Because I mean, at the end of the day, it boils down to, do you actually see trans people as the gender that they identify as? And I think the answer is no. That's why all this is happening.
It's really, yeah, it just gets really frustrating because I was reading a report about it was a kid who a trans boy who had started his transition, a teenager, and had already been starting taking testosterone, and now that he lived in Arkansas, and now that the bill passed, he's not sure if he's going to be able to continue those treatments. And that is like so, like, it's so disgusting when you actually like put like when you see a person who's going to be affected by it, and you hear their name and you hear their story, and it's like, damn, like I can't imagine being happy, being able to be you one day, and then all of a sudden that's like stripped away. And like that's like so like every day I fear that like tomorrow I'm not gonna have like estrogen, I'm not gonna have my pills. Like every month when I have to renew, I'm always worried that my prescription, they're just gonna say like, nope, you're not allowed to have it anymore. And I'm just not gonna have it for like months and months. And like that's a fear that I have, that like it sucks that like kids who are brave enough to be out when they're children, like it hurts to see that like they're able to like start transitioning earlier and feeling more comfortable with themselves like earlier, and then having to like go through puberty the way that I did, and like having so many issues or things that I like am grossed out by because I did go through puberty. They're brave enough to come out and not have to deal with that, and for them to have to see their bodies change after already starting something, that's truly disgusting. And yeah, there was like that interview that came out where like this woman, I wish that I like knew names and like I was better at like kind of being able um to like I can share like links in our bio and stuff like that. But it was an interview between it was a governor, I'm pretty sure, of another state, and she asked like the governor to name one trans athlete that is like the result of this, or that like is the reason why this is happening. And he couldn't even name one because it's such a small percentage. So this is like completely just a targeted attack that's going to constantly just keep happening, just because they want a reason to to hate trans people, to invalidate trans people. And sports is the that's how they're doing it.
And it's so sad, like with the sports thing and also with the bathroom thing, we saw like every time somebody was asked, like, give me an example. Do you have statistics? Do you have studies? Like, are there people, has this happened before? Nobody has an answer. And like, it's so sad that they're trying so hard to block trans people from literally existing in life when you can't even provide one example of why that would be reasonable. And that kind
Exactly.
of like, that's what I was talking about. It's like, you can't make this big claim that there's such a big disadvantage going on, or that this is happening, or that this shouldn't be allowed because it's not fair, when you don't have anything to base that off of. It's like, you're just transphobic. Like, that's really the basis of everything. It's like, there's no reason. If there was a reason, like if there was hard, I mean, people don't even listen to science anyway, so I guess it doesn't matter. But like, I feel like even if there were statistics, like I feel like you should have those. Like, that's kind of the point. Like, when you want to put something in action, or if you want to change something, or if you want to move forward with changing the way that things are, there should be a reason as to why you're changing it. And if there isn't, then you kind of have to think like, what's the real reason that you're pushing so hard for this to pass? It's because you're transphobic.
Yeah. And I don't know, I just keep like reading stats after stats, and it becomes so stressful. um Yeah, I know. I always send you tweets too of like things that I see that I'm like so grossed out by. And I said this earlier, this one tweet that I saw, that someone said, I cannot stress enough that puberty blockers have been used for decades to delay puberty in cisgender kids who experience precocious, which is early puberty. They're only considered new, dangerous, and experimental when identical drugs are given to trans and gender expansive kids. I cannot stress enough that puberty blockers are reversible. That's why we've given them to cis kids for decades. It's not HRT. It's not surgery. It's not mutilations. It's not transsexuality. It's just a way that to stop puberty before like kids are ready. And so I think that's like a really good understanding of like all of that. And I know we've been talking about like like hormones being taken away from trans kids and also sports, but they kind of like intermingle because they're both kind of occurring at the same time. And that discussion of like trans people in sports keeps happening. And it's been something that I've been hearing for a really long time, where it's like, should trans people play in sports? And I think at the end of the day, we need to just like rethink sports in general, because there's people have advantages in their own different ways. And by passing these sorts of bills, you're just kind of creating a new normal for us to constantly having to evaluate whether people are women enough or men enough to be or perform in these sports. um, I don't know if I think this was happening in Arkansas, where they made it like legal to, if they suspect a trans kid is trans and wants to play into sports, if they're suspecting they're trans, they made it legal for they can get a physician to give them a physical exam to check, which is just like you're legally creating pedophilia. That's what it is. Like you're like actually like letting that happen. And like, I mean, it's frustrating because you're assaulting these kids by doing stuff like that. Not only is being trans already hard on them, but you're legalizing a way for them to be abused, and in other in like ways like that. So I just find it really disgusting, disturbing, and I hate it. I hate it so much.
I think the way to resolve all of this is to just, I think every trans person deserves a stimulus every month. Like, we really deserve to
Reparations.
be paid. Like, I, there's so much trauma that happens, like, and just like all of the fears that there's so many irrational fears that I have, just like of going out and like living my day to day life. I need to be compensated. And like, it's not okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, we need to be compensated because like we're put through hell every single day, and like for literally what reason? Like, what's the reason?
Right. All of us, we demand reparations for trans people, also black
Exactly.
people, and for Jack Black.
Pay up.
And
Joe
J.K.
Biden
Rowling.
literally said he addressed trans people. So pay up, Mr. Joe. Like, if you want to talk to
Yeah,
us, open
I
up your
want their.
checkbook.
I mean, I'm not sure. Like, I can't like speak on like politics that well because I'm not sure how like executive orders or anything like that happens. But there needs to be some sort of regulation that like that that provides trans people with some sort of security, because like Trump just like was in office and like made it so trans people can be discriminated against in medical fields. And it's like, if it's so easy for like a president just to do that with the flip of a switch, we need to have some sort of protections where we're not constantly fearing that we're going to lose our health insurance or hormones tomorrow. And that's like a big fear that I have. And it's like really, like, I know at times it can be irrational, but if you look at the news and everything, it's really so scary how close we are for that to happen. For them to be like, today it's like, oh, trans kids can't be put on puberty blockers, and then tomorrow it's like trans adults can't have hormones, and it feels like we're kind of stepping towards that area. And so it's, yeah, I don't know, it's
Yeah.
really, really
I
spooky.
feel like when, in my mind, like when I started transitioning and when I started hormones, I feel like from that point moving on, it should be getting easier for people to find resources and to get on hormones if that's something that they feel like they need to do. But I feel like it's actually like going in reverse. I feel like it's getting harder, and like there's
Yeah.
more steps that we have to take in order to prove who we are, because I don't know, like there's just so much fear about trans people going on. It's like it's inhibiting the people that actually want to get treatment and like get on hormones from actually doing it because of, oh, are you gonna go into the bathroom and molest people? Like, are you gonna be unfair in sports? It's like so many little fucking minute fears that people have about trans people that aren't even true and have never been true, and there's no evidence to prove that it is true. It's just hard.
Yeah, and so I don't know, I'm over it. It is
Me
like, it
too.
is frustrating, and we can like, I mean, every week there's like something new. What I tend to do before, like I don't know, anytime, like a few times throughout the week, I just go on Google and I type in transgender and I just look at the news, because I want to be like up to date with everything, and I recommend you guys do that too, because a lot of times things happen under my nose that I wish that I knew about, that I can like have advocated against or done more. It's really important to like constantly just keep up to date, to see what's going on with the trans community. It's always important to be an advocate. And yeah, it's really important to know what's happening, because sometimes I feel so out of the loop. Sometimes you'll message me and you're like, "Did you hear this?" And I'm like, "No, like I like haven't." And it's really important for us to like know what's happening, know what's going on in our country, because we need to be able to stand against this and be able to tell people to like stop, or do what we can to make people stop.
Absolutely. Um, yeah, I think ending stay strong if you're trans. Like it's so hard. Like every single day there's always something to be sad about or to worry about or to have anxiety about because it's just like it feels like it's never ending. But I mean at the end of the day you just got to keep living your life
Yeah.
and like that's really all you can do.
Yeah, just push forward constantly. Always be true to yourself. And yeah, sometimes it's scary, but yeah, I think it's important for us to stick together as a community and fight on, because it's really gross what's happening. But I think that what's best is we remain a strong community and we push against, and we advocate so others, allies, can help us push forward and create a world where it can be truly inclusive and people don't have to worry every 2 seconds whether they're being judged or not, whether they have the same rights as cis people or not. And yeah, it's definitely important to just kind of remain strong and just kind of continue pushing.
I also think we should all just like join the Olympics. Like
Right.
why not? Like let's stir it up.
Exactly.
Let's stir the tea. Join the Olympics. Which sport would we do?
Let's see.
Let's
Uh,
oh my god, we can like have our own basketball team.
that's true. I was gonna say a readathon, or we just have to read Harry Potter. Who can read it the quickest? Oh my god! But a basketball team. I feel like skateboarding just got into the Olympics.
Oh my god, we can be
Let,
skaters
let's be skaters.
because like there's obviously a disadvantage if a trans person wants to be a skateboarder. Like the way that their foot is angled on the skateboard and the way that the trajectory of their body is going in the air, it's proven to
Yeah.
like be like advantageous for them.
Right. Like men's toes have like a certain arch to it that
Yeah.
like can like grip the board.
And then when you're trans, like sometimes like trans people's feet like change sizes and it actually like adds more traction to the bottom of your foot. So it's like the skateboard's not going to go anywhere. It's going to be stuck
Yeah.
to your foot. So, yeah.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Like become like a frog where it's sticky and it sticks to it. It's so fucking stupid. Like these are the arguments. But thank you guys for listening to this week's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I know sometimes we can be a little messy, but I'm happy that we're able to like sit here and talk about it. You can actually see our faces, hopefully, in this episode. I'm pretty sure I recorded the video.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, yeah, these will be on YouTube, and hopefully, we'll be able to keep continuing all this and have like a more consistent sort of like planning or sort of episodes. And so, yeah, thanks for watching as always. And yeah, we'll see you next week. Follow us on everything at Girlish Podcast. And you can go to our website, girlishpodcast.com, to just be linked to everything.
Yeah. Exactly. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I hope you all have an amazing week and month. It's already May. So, I mean, take with that what you will. The year's almost over. So, that's great. But I hope the rest of 2021 is just so. Why am I acting like it's like December 31st and like we're going into the.
Oh my God.
And just have a good day. That's all I'm going to
Yeah.
say.
Pride Month's next month.
Yeah.
Woo.
Oh, yeah. Period. Pride. Woohoo.
Bye.